Hello there and welcome to another Bobeats video, and today we are gonna check out the Korg NTS-3. This is the Kaoss Pad 1 and we're gonna assemble it together. We're also gonna test it out and see what it sounds like, what it can do, and yeah, have a good time. So get yourself a cup of coffee, sit down, relax, and let's build something here. So my guess is that this will be quite easy to assemble, but I've thought that before and been wrong. I'm not the biggest fan of DIY things, probably because I lack the patience and the technical skills, so I'm always a bit afraid to, like, I don't know, break something. But, whoops. Thankfully, the assembly process is very straightforward and you even get a manual. You start by breaking a couple of pieces apart, and then you take your Volca-sized screwdriver and assemble the side panels, attach the side panels to the bottom plate. Then you take the circuit board and the top plate, put them together, put everything in the box, screw it together, and attach the two last side panels, and there you go, it's that simple. So I brought out the Yamaha Seek Track. I actually think it's pretty good as like a songwriter's tool, and I just hooked it up, audio out here, stereo cable, mini jack into the Kaoss Pad, and let's see what it sounds like. So that was a looper, a delay, and a low-pass filter. Okay, so this one is actually quite cool. Like a lo-fi delay with, I think, a high-pass and low-pass filter and decimator. Okay, that sounds actually really cool. So we got this isolator. We got some chorus. Tape echoes. Oh, this is kind of nice. Okay, kind of cool. And by holding down here, we can set the tempo. And unless my ears are deceiving me, I do believe that we have 4 effects here that we can actually stack together. Future Bo here, that was indeed a correct observation. You can basically build your own custom effects by stacking 4 different effects and triggering them using the touch plate. So just drum loop through it here with a looper, a phaser, decimator, and compressor. I mean, if you've owned the Minilog XD, you recognize this kind of sound. This is the submarine reverb. It's just big and boomy and sweet, but also kind of like, I don't know, you recognize it almost immediately. So it's pretty responsive, I think. I mean, of course, it's not the same as, say, the older, bigger Kaoss pads, and it's definitely not the same as the Kaoss Replay, even though it got a little bit of a rough
launch, I think that actually the actual pad of it is very, very smooth and easy to use. This is of course not as smooth because it's a metal surface, but still I think it's fairly responsive. Okay, that's kind of cool. So we have a tremolo, we have a high pass filter. Nice. So far, very impressed. This is a very fun gadget, and I think that it will end up in many people's synth rigs. Like, it's super small, feels fun to play. Of course, like with the metal chassis here, it's not the nicest experience with the X and Y pad here, but it's still fun enough for playing around with it. I think it's just the form factor that it's so tiny makes a lot of sense for putting in a synth setup. I also got the chance to try some Sine Vibes plugins. This is the Albedo. Some sort of granular reverb, I think. There's also the Whirl. And Blend. Some kind of a chorus. And let's stack them together. So there's just a few more things I want to touch on. Firstly, you can edit the effects. So you have the 4 effects here. You can press edit, press here. And now you can see on the screen here, we can change the cutoff, resonance, for example, LFO rate, LFO sync, LFO depth, LFO wave. And that was for a high pass filter. If we select a reverb instead, we will have time, we will have depth, tone, dry and wet signal. So there's a bunch of different settings for each effect. Nothing that you would be surprised about, I suppose, just a kind of standard setting depending on what kind of effect it is. You can also press edit to save a program. So the program are basically the presets that I showed you previously. There's a bunch of slots for saving your own setups with up to 4 effects. So here we can also rename, we can clear, and we can also change the routing, so the way that the audio is routed internally. So whether or not you want, for example, all effects to feed into one another, or you want them to take different routing paths. And I'm quite happy to see a routing feature that's useful when building a chain of effects, because sometimes you don't want the effects to feed into one another. I also tested the NTS-3 editor, but only briefly. And here you can see that we can see all the different programs that are in the NTS-3. My unit came with 100 presets, and here you can see effects 1, 2, and 3, and 4. So you can also see the routing over here. There's also a few global settings. And I also got some early access to some Sine Vibes plugins for the NTS-3. So let's see if I can just drop one here. Yeah, it seems I can. So let's send them. And here you can see that I've created my own preset here. It doesn't have a name, but I guess I could name it. And something I didn't realize at first, but Loop Up actually helped me with this. You can double press here and then get up a menu here. So you can see all of the settings for the effects here. So that's quite cool. You can also change routing up here. And right before I pressed publish on this video here, I learned that there is actually a switch inside of the NTS-3 that lets you switch the sync inputs and outputs to MIDI. which is huge. That was one of my big complaints, that it didn't have MIDI, but it does, so that's good. Good job, Korg. I think that this is actually a brilliant little effects device. I love the NTS stuff. I think it's really fun and interesting. So you let me know what you think about it down in the comments as always. Hope you have a great day. Talk to you later.